Hello. It's going to be interesting, that one. Yeah. I've just seen pollen go in there.
Have you seen the...
Right, let's have a look in these first. So these were Horsley controlled, apparently. It says on here.
They were, and then when I went through them a couple of weeks ago, they were queenless, full of queen cells.
Right.
Supersedure queen cells.
Okay.
There were 3.
Okay, let's have a look.
And then another 3 queen cells.
Bees up in this super. You've got a high spot there.
Yeah.
That's
That's it.
forest.
Yeah.
Basically, may as well just take that straight off.
Bit in the middle, but not.
Not a lot of weight in that. Just give me a little puff of smoke in there. But all the stores are down here, actually. Let's check on here for a queen. It's not full of drones in here, which is a good sign, right?
Yeah.
And these are busy. They are doing the thing. There's pollen going in the entrance. So I would say Supersedure Queen has been successful. Just get the sun behind me.
Yeah, I wished I had a pen and I could have marked where they were, but
There's no eggs in that one, but then I would say the brood nest is somewhere around here. It's not quite central, it's just off central, but I'm just going to go straight in.
a lot more stores in here than there were before.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, look at
But they're nothing though. Nothing in that. Well, it's not worth having that. So whether they were, there's nothing actually in them if you have a look. So if that's their hope. There's one here that's been torn down.
well, you probably can't see inside them. Oh yeah.
That looks like an emergency cell. That's quite near the top. But that's been torn down the side. So there's probably another cell in here, which the actual queen came from, and it was torn down the side. Although this is nicely polished, there's no eggs in here. So let's have a little look. So we can see a queen walking right across the middle of the frame. The video frame. There's laying there.
Who's that?
I think I can see
That's
eggs
good.
in there. Let's have a better look in a second. Go from such a bright day to such a dismal dark day. Now I'm wearing my shades and I can't see anything through them. Yeah, there's eggs in there. There's an egg in every one of those.
Great.
Certainly down in that area there. I'm not seeing queen on there. So she might be on the next frame or next couple of frames. These are busy, they're nice and calm. There's a little play cup on the bottom there. And I'm just going to take that off because it's too late in the year for these kind of things. Messing around with these. I'll take that off as well. Just 'cause it's, I don't see a queen on that. Put that back in there. Let's have a look at this next one. Seems like they're desperate for these supersedure cells. There's another one there, look. see anything in there.
So there's
Surprising.
something on the bottom of this next frame.
Okay. This one.
Yeah. It might just be a bit of big lump of wax.
Another queen cell that's been torn down the side.
Yeah. So when I went through last, they were the ones that they had queen cells with stuff in.
Yeah.
But there were obviously the ones on the bottom rather than the ones in the middle. Looks like there's another one.
I'd be very, very surprised if there's not a queen in here, because they're just acting like they are doing their business, you know. And they're going around their daily chores. There's one there that's been emerged and been torn down. That one there, look. And that's an emergency cell right at the top. So they may have had oh, there's a queen.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Right in the corner here. Just gone round. So they have got a queen. Whether they raised an emergency cell and then decided she was an emergency, we've got better, whether we should mark her or not. She's on this frame. Let's give her a marking. Because I have seen eggs in
hold the
here.
frame while you get the stuff out.
Yeah, I can do. Look at that. There's a case. Can you see her?
Yeah, just there, look. You can see her on this end of my hand. There, on the corner.
Should probably pick her up with my bare hands. She's a bit jumpy though. She's gone. That's all right.
Yeah, red sticking out, but
Just drop it down there. The head sticking out.
yeah.
I think that's any good. She's gone in there. Yep, she's just gone down onto that frame now. Just died that rigid.
There.
Oh, the shoes on there. Oh. She's a little bit flighty. See, she's got. Maybe we'll just leave her alone.
Yeah.
Let her get properly
Bit of a raw now.
laying. She's a very young queen, and she's very jumpy. Sticking the tail in the air like that and running around is a sign that they're probably newly mated and they're not calm. You know, there's no point in, just because she's not marked, there's no point in just going, oh, she's not marked, so therefore I'm going to chase after her, make her life a misery, just so that I can mark her. The reality is, I'm marking her for my benefit. I'd rather she was just happy and contented in her work, and then go, ah, okay, she's got lots of lay in there, lots of brood in different stages. All we've seen is a little bit of eggs, so she's only just starting to get her brood nest together. So they're still very jumpy, but they are queen white, right? So we now know what's going on with them, which is good. Want to swing that round? Put the frames in the cool direction. That's excellent. So we can, at the very least, right on the top here, 17th today.
Yeah.
16th, 17th of the 7th. Queen seen laying.
Lovely.
So we'll go for the next smallest one over here. If you wouldn't mind just puffing a bit of smoke down there. And then we'll start dealing with this big stack here and maybe even have a look at that one first and then come back to this.
Yeah.
We haven't got any other. We haven't got another hive one. Oh, these are right up the top here. Look.
Yeah, these had a lot of stores on.
I'm gonna crack that off. Well, they've not drawn out this foundation. There's a lot of propolis around here. It's very, very sticky with propolis. There's one thing about not gone for it with drawing this out. So there's not, you know, a flow on because is it a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, so I didn't put this on a couple of weeks ago. It was already on.
Right. But this one
It's pretty good.
is finished. This is ready. So
I'll swap.
you
Well,
can.
we swap and we'll put it back.
Nice and slow. Right, quick, let's get it down there. Got it. Oh, whoops. Always best to go along.
Yeah.
Sorry, grabbing and taking over. You go along from one corner and then
Yeah.
you can just push them down. There's a lot of propolis in here, so it's just everything is very, very sticky. The honey dropping off of there, nectar dropping off, you see it.
Oh yeah.
There is a bit of a flow at the moment, but we're not surprised about that. There's suddenly
No queens on there.
You're standing on the entrance side as well, you guys, so
Yeah.
you're going to have clouds of bees behind you. If you want to come round here, and I'll try and can you just move that smoker away? There's just lashings of smoke. Probably annoying that hive up there. Nice one. Just move that out the entrance as well, and they can get in, and then everything can continue. You know, as we might have taken the supers off, so they might be a bit over congested when all these foraging bees are coming back and coming up through the hive to go to the super, and they're so I'm wondering where it is. So if we just a couple of little puffs across here just to drive them down a bit. Yeah, it's enough. So they go scurrying down there into the cells where the honey is, and then we can start taking these out without too much problem. I'm just going to take a couple of these off here to stop killing bees. Don't want to kill the bees. And then we can lift this out without it knocking them as they come out. Just take those burrs off on the side as well. Just bits of brace comb. So this is on the outside frame, so you can see it's glistening with nectar and capped honey. So they have processed that and turned it into honey and capped it. So I'll just bob that down on the side there. Couldn't see the queen on there, had a look for her. I'd be surprised if she was out on the edges, but there's another frame of stores. Lots of stores on there as well. There's a flow coming in, definitely. Bob that to the side there. This is a bit lighter, so they're keeping this open for brood. No brood on this side, so I'll just try and get the sun behind me. Where is the sun? Oh, there. It's all polished and clean, but there's no lay in there. A few drones still around in here, which is good for our late emerging queens. Can't see any eggs in there yet. See, I think the queens are already pairing back their lay. We're past the longest day. We've just had like, at least 3 weeks of sort of rainy days. Not a lot of food coming in. There's lots of pollen in here. We've got lots of food here, but they're not feeling that there's a flow on, so they may have just slowed down on the amount of lay. There's eggs in here though. So we're on the edge of the brood nest here. So if there's eggs in here, the queen may be on this frame. Oh, I don't see her. She could be on the dark side on the other side. Just turn it over quickly. No, can't see it. There's been some cups made here in the past. They're very old, and I don't think they've probably been used for anything. Very, very old cups. I'll just take them off because I don't want to see them. They wouldn't use those, I don't think, for raising queens in. So they've built them. They often practice with queen cups, making queen cups. It's almost like practicing making queen cells. It's an interesting, very old frame. It'd be nice to move some of these out, these older frames. The queen lay a lot better in the newer, fresher wax. Yeah, there's eggs in there, nicely polished, and eggs in there. So she's definitely doing her job in here. Again, there's more kind of cells here that they've made in the past. Holes right through the old frame. It's a very old frame. Yeah, it'd be nice to take some of these old frames out and just potentially can be harbouring, you know, all kinds of build-ups of funguses and stuff like that. So that can, like chalk brood and things like that, can come about from old frames. Again, all this is a emerged brood. But there is larvae in the bottom of there, and there's eggs on there. So it is almost like there's been a brood break in here. Whether they swarmed or not, I don't know. There's definitely been, feels like there's been a brood break. But there's a lot of royal jelly in the bottoms of some of these cells, so those larvae are really growing now. Yeah, but still no sign of a queen as yet. We'll see whether she is a marked queen when we see her, or whether she has previously been marked. I think this was a last year's queen. Another lots and lots of pollen on here. This looks like it might be the edge of the brood, so maybe not, because there's a lot more frames to go. It looks, this feels like a edge of a brood frame. Okay. We'll keep going through. Exciting stuff, isn't it? Yeah, there's no capped brood in here, so there's definitely been a brood break. I feel that these have swarmed at some point.
When when I went through 3 weeks ago, there was no brood, no eggs, no larvae,
Right.
and no sort of visible, obvious queen cells.
Right. Interesting. But maybe there was already a virgin queen in there then. They just had really bad weather. Unable to get out on mating flights or... Yeah. This is not a queenless hive, you know, by any means. They're very content going around their chores. But there is no capped brood in here, so there's definitely been a brood break, and the new queen will have waited until all the old brood is emerged before starting to lay. And so she's starting to lay, so you know it could easily be 3 weeks. So there could have been a mated queen walking around, newly mated queen. So you wouldn't see the queen cell because they will have dragged that down.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't see a queen cell. There'd just be a newly mated queen walking around in the hive, waiting for all the brood to emerge, and then her job starts, and all the brood from then on is her brood, you know. And I could easily have missed her. In these bees, I may well have missed her. But there's definitely, I've seen eggs and larvae, so they're up and going again. And hopefully they got enough time to build a winter brood nest in here. But this has all been backfilled at some time as well. There's a lot of pollen in here. So they've forced the old queen out by giving her nowhere to lay. Probably in all that rain, but it could have easily have been a supersedure cell. Even, you know, they could have just decided, oh, this queen is failing, we're going to make sure that we keep going. They just produce 1 or 2 supersedure cells, they emerge, get mated, and they just carry on. It's kind of, they're good traits really, that they can look after themselves. They're resilient. You know, we sometimes we do too much in the way of interventions with bees, and really, they for millions of years they've looked after themselves without humans intervening. There's no reason why they need us. It might be in boxes that we've made, but that's just because it's convenient for them. Okay, a little puff of smoke around here, and we'll I'll pop this one back in. Probably find the one that I took out earlier is the one with the queen on. I looked around it quick, but I didn't see anything. Still nothing else. I guess she's in there. She's definitely in there. Okay, so queen on the queen excluder, you checked that anyway, didn't you? That's all good. And make sure that we don't get the wrong side of the queen excluder. If she's on there and I haven't seen her. A little bit more noise there now, but again, like we talked about the other day, this is often a case of when there isn't a lot of open larvae in the hive, they can make the noises of being queenless. But we've seen eggs and a few open larvae, so they're just starting to get themselves back on their feet now. Let's do that. I'm just going to put that one on one side for a second. Put that back on top. I'll put this one on first. See if we can get them drawing out this bit of comb in here. It's harder work at this time of year because there's a lot less flow available. Probably see. But that's a nice cap. We could take that one off, I think. Actually. Got a clearing board. We'll leave this on the way it is for now.
I'd say so, because if we've only got one clearing board, that top one and this one should have.
We're impoverished.
Should have
at the farm.
more.
We need more clearing boards. Help us.
Which one do you want to do next?
We'll go to this one. This is not a good super. Got a hole in the corner here where bees can get in. It's still light.
Some more anything.
Okay. You got a bit of wood.
I'll go something like that.
Yeah.
It's alright for doing this one.
Have you done the inputs?
No, yeah. That might be able to.
Now these have been quite feisty, I would say, in the past. But we often get our most stores off of this hive. So they're hard workers, they're just angry with it. So beware of that. And I've tried requeening them. Last year they were coming after you. See, they do kind of come out and come at you a bit. Wouldn't want to work these without smoke and without gloves. I've had them stinging me through my jeans before.
You've got them what?
Stinging me through my jeans. It's still quite painful. It's not as like the same as on straight onto your bare flesh, but there's one there, look. One there, straight onto my veil, straight into my face, as it were. We haven't even gone through into the hive yet. So they are quite vicious. Yeah, we could do with swapping this super over because there's a hole in this corner. I didn't realise that. I'll bring a super over. I'll just go and get one from the car. Oh, yeah. Yep, not looking bad. We've got 4 here now. Yep.
Are they doing well?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. I mean, the last 3 weeks or so has been a bit rubbish. Like winter. I think it's warmer in New Zealand apparently than it is here. It's supposed to be their winter. It's not today, obviously. We're back into summer again today, but 12 degrees and drizzly rain is. Where's that smoke again? Just give us a. Sorry? Oh, this? Yeah, well, maybe. Cheers. Yeah, so you see the difference between this colony. See, they're a bit runny. See how they run around? They're a bit feisty and a bit runny. But having said that, you look in here, there was foundation in here just like there was foundation in those others around about the same time, and these have drawn this out. So they're workers. You can't hold that back from them, you know.
Yeah.
Even though there's been no real flows on, they haven't been sitting on their laurels in here just waiting for the weather to change. They've been in here drawing out comb. So I can't knock them for that, you know. And I think they are a lot more pleasant than they have been previously. There's basically nothing in that one that I have to run it out, whereas this one is full. So we'll need that clearing board on. This is going to be heavy as well. So we've already had, is it 2 off of here?
I think so.
I think we've had two full supers off of this one already. And it looks like there might be another 3 here. So I'll put that on the top there, just to make things awkward. This one, yeah, so this one is partially empty actually. I'll probably put often what I do is I'll put a drawn comb and a foundation. So a foundation drawn, foundation drawn, foundation drawn. You see this drawn one here, they've drawn it out a bit further and they filled it right up and capped it. The one next to it, which was foundation, they have drawn it out now and they are capping that one. But I can move these ones out to the edges now and try and encourage them to see that one, even that one they're drawing out. Try and encourage them to start drawing out some other ones. The warmth in the nest, above the nest, comes right through the center of the hive. The capped brood, I should say, creates its own warmth, and that warmth rises obviously right through the hive. So that one is nicely full and very capped on that side. So I can put that right out to the edge here now, and they can finish off capping that, and I'll put some in the middle and then they can work on that. Just keeping them working really, you know, keeping them with work to do. What I will do actually is I'll put a drawn one from the edge into the middle there next to that. Better if you've got, when you're getting foundation drawn out, it's better to have some drawn next to it. Otherwise there's a very big gap, and it's so that'd be a bit better for them. That. Let's crack this off. So we're on a brood and a half on this one. So we've got a national, and then we've got a super with brood in as well, and then a queen excluder. So actually we haven't got 3 supers on here. We've got 1 super full and 1 partially filled, and the other one is empty, but they've got it ready for filling. And there are a few on this Botanics site. There are a few trees that flower a lot later. Look at this smoke on here. So where I've just cracked it off and broken the seal of the honey, go on there just cleaning it up. So now we're going into their brood nest, even though this is a super. So which is why I don't like nationals so much. They're a bit too small for a lot of bees. Lots of different varieties of bees. There's something funny with this one. Look. Got a lot of stores on that side and nothing on that side, but they've drawn it right out. So I'm going to put that actually to the outside and right out to the edge. But this is the edge of the brood here, so so the queen has been laying on this one, so this is all laying up, so you can see there's open brood in here, these creamy white cells here. Lots of different coloured pollens around here, lots of different, from yellow to brown, red, beigey colours, almost black, all the way around there. Beautiful pollen arch, stores, capped stores up here, ready to feed their larvae, and then these creamy white cells here, and then these capped darker brown cells. So you can see the difference between the capped honey here and the capped brood. Again, we've got capped brood here. Emerging brood, I should say. Emerging brood. Very runny. Look how they run. It's not a great trait, I don't think. Flighty and runny bees. Aggressive. They've not been too bad today, so it is probably about the optimum kind of weather for looking at bees. But you come on a slightly cooler day and wow, they are not very happy. Whereas, yeah. Lovely cap brood there, quite solidly capped. And there, but it's all in the soup. I will have to break this off and have a look in the brood in a minute. This is on the edge now, so this is all pollen, just solid pollen in there. You see all the different colours of pollen in there. And that's for their protein, for feeding their young, feeding themselves as well. So they mix it in with, they'll bring in nectar and they'll mix it with the pollen in here. Bee bread, as it's known as. Carbohydrates and protein. And then we're right on the edge there. There's just a bit of broken brace comb there, so they're cleaning it up straight away. Along a little bit, better spacing. There's no sign of any queen cells or anything like that in here. Not on their mind. So what I will do is I'm just going to put some in this bottle and this is going to encourage them to do good cleaning jobs throughout the hive. There's a little bit of syrup in it as well, and it's good for their guts. So just put that on. I'll put some down in the lower brood as well in a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this. Make sure again that there's no queen on there. And I can pop that on there. I can lift this onto there. Without the queen going down on there, you could be ready with that bit of smoke there. And I'll crack this off. So I just twist it as I lift it up. So in here, that's here. That's huge. Very busy. So down in here you can see in the centre here we've got old brood frames, and on the outside here we've got foundation. A lot of foundation done in here. So we are starting to replace some of these old combs in here. It's not been drawn out this. So we might have to try and encourage that a bit. So that's like the edge of their brood down here. There's no eggs in these cells on, so that's right on the edge. So most of the brood seems to be up in that super. There's brood down here, there is brood and pollen there. It's almost like half and half. Brood on this side, pollen on that side. Very young larvae in there, it's emerged and she's just backfilled with more eggs. There's a queen there, just coming round onto this side. She's unmarked, shall we mark her? She's very established.
Yeah.
Shall we mark her?
That's the thing.
if you wouldn't mind. Blue one. Just leave it on for a second just to let the paint dry. It's a water-based paint, so they do lick it off eventually, but does make it a lot easier to see her and find you. Okay, so that's all good. I'm just going to continue looking through here a bit. That's a nice frame of brood, but it's very old comb again, you know. But this is all capped brood, so I have a feeling. There's our queen just running around the top. She's just gone down now. But I think that we should actually stick some foundation between these capped broods, because it's going to be, they're giving off some warmth. I'd rather get her building a good nest down the bottom here where they've got bigger frames. It's a lot easier to look at bees when you're just pulling one frame out instead of lots of little dilly frames like those. So I'm inclined to do a bit of moving around here.
You've got the queen excluder on top of the brood now that you know that she's in the bottom.
I could do, but it's, you know, with these little hives, with the national hives, there's not really a lot of room just for one. For a queen like this, and maybe not at this time of year, but earlier in the year, they're just going to swarm because they run out of room. They fill it up,
Yeah.
and then that's it. You know, they run out of room. Whereas they really want a brood and a half space to build a decent sized nest. So I'm inclined to leave them on a brood and a half at the moment, even though it does annoy me, just because we've got a little box that we have to. It's more agitation for the bees having to go through this little box and then having to go through this. Whereas really, as far as they're concerned, it's one brood nest. But it's twice the amount of hassling them, you know. So, but yeah, ideally you'd put the queen excluder on now. We know where she is. We could pin her in there, but we've got most of the brood in the hive is up in this super here, and there could be drone on here and all sorts, which is another thing that can annoy the bees.
Drones.
Is stuck drones, yeah, absolutely. This grasses is getting a bit out of control, isn't it? So we're done here, we are done here. We've seen what we need to see in this colony. And we've marked the queen, so we can even say that on our roof as well. We've sorted this super out, which is ready to go on there now. We could bob that other super above and then put a queen excluder, put a clearing board on for this super, because this is nice and full.
In the boot.
These two, yes.
Open.
Yeah. Thanks. This was the one that we wanted to replace actually, because this has got a hole on the side. So what we're going to do, I can put all these in here, take them all out, I think. I'll put them over here in the shade. Yeah. You taking them off?
Well, they weren't going in.
I'll leave them on and put them to the edge. There's another annoyance with the frames that don't have their own spacing on. You either have to put plastic spacers on or castellated, so this metal along here.
Which is fine, but
Which is fine,
mixing and matching.
yeah. Kind of have to make your mind up when beekeeping and say, oh, I'm going to have I decided to have mine like this, and I'm going to then.
We're shorter. What do you want, the new one or the?
We'll have this drawn one. There's a bit more stores in it. Lovely. So you got a clearing board, yeah? Lovely. So this is a clearing board. They can go down through here, out through these holes in the side at night. Then the next day they don't find their way back up. So get across the entrance a bit.
Looks like it's got
There's a lot of see the
seems
pollen.
to be using like
Pollen on these foraging bees coming back, loaded with pollen. Look. So I'll just
they're
put
not
them into
using the entrance of the entrance
into the
block, they're
hive.
using a gap on the side.
Well, we could take the entrance block out.
But it's a bit of a manky one.
Yeah. Have a little bit of smoke there. Being very well behaved, I should say. And could you just smoke the end of here so I can pick it up? Thank you. Great. And little puffs of smoke around top here just to encourage them to go in and down. So that's squashing bees. Come on, in you go. This is the irony of looking at bees on a nice sunny day is that actually this is when they're bringing in the most forage. It's probably the last time you shouldn't be looking at them on a day like today. So that's why it's nice to look at bees on a slightly less clement day, not boiling hot, when there's foragers that are out foraging but they're not bringing in loads, in which case you're not holding back the amount of forage that they're bringing in.
Take this block out, it's gone.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, sure. Did you put the pen back, by the way?
Yeah.
Again, I'll just write on the top of here, 17th of the 7th, 20, queen, seen, laying. This time of year, this time of year I don't write much more than that. They're queen right. I know that I've got a clearing board on here. Let's take that top tooth there. So last one here. Oh, where's that other super gone?
I've just moved it over there in the shade with the spare frame. Do you
We
want?
want to put those frames back in.
Can see them.
Right, sorry, I just
Oh,
grabbed them out
shit.
because there's a hole in one of the corners.
Yeah, it's a bit manky.
Yeah. It's one of the downsides of getting seconds. It's a cheap way of getting bee equipment, and most of it, nearly all the time, is absolutely fine. Just every now and again you get one which has got a knot in it and the knot falls out. which is why you pay all that extra money for the firsts. Good, nice. Very good. They're leaving a bit of a... Yeah. So there was, looks like there was a queen cell attached on there, look. Just the slight remnants, they've drawn most of it down, but there was a queen cell on there. May have been the reason why we put it up onto a board here, or because there was drones in here and open brood, and we decided to let the drones get out, so we put this Horsley board on. We'll just have a quick look through here. Is there a queen excluder on the lid there, by the way? This is all lovely capped brood here. I think most of this is capped.
No, it's another Horsley one.
Oh, okay. So we're short of a queen excluder, but
Is there brood in it?
no, not yet. It's just stores, just a load of stores in that front, and the same in that one. So, but it did look like there was a queen cell that had emerged. So if anything's happening, queen cell could be down here. Interesting shape to it as well. Yep. You see, these could be just bees that are working the whole colony as one, and they've got two entrances. There might not necessarily be a queen up here, because in the middle, we'll see in a minute, in the middle there's a queen excluder, but a little square shape. As far as these bees are concerned, this is just an extension of the hive below. So there could be a queen in here laying, but it could also not be. Hedging my bets.
Like the latter.
Yeah, we don't need another queen here really, for this time. Yeah. A few drones in here, but this is all being backfilled. I don't see any eggs in here. Oh, there's quite a lot of pollen there. No eggs there. A few drones around. Maybe they're just coming in for a feed. It does look very, almost like a nest in the middle here. Yeah, there's eggs in there. So we've got a queen in here laying. We've got another viable colony. We could really do with a queen excluder on here. But she's going to run out of, as soon as she gets laying, she's going to run out of space very quickly. Should have brought her empty nuke. I was saying to you, wasn't I?
Well, one of us was saying.
Yeah, a lot of drones. So we're going to have to come back here very soon and sort these out. Ideally with a brood box. There's been definitely a queen cell on there. Look,
Yeah.
that they've been chewing down. So there's a queen there, right there now.
Yeah.
Looks very calm, going about her business. So she's all right at the moment. Really, she could do with drawn comb at this time of year, and lots of feed, I should say. But I think what we'll do is we'll probably put them in a nuke and take them away from this site and give them plenty of feed. Get them really laying up. So there's nowhere to put any of these stars. I'm inclined to take those full supers there and bob them above that queen excluder over there.
Clearing board.
Clearing board, that's the one. Yeah, seen enough here.
Which one's
So,
the bottom one?
well, see, there's no lay-in either. There's
No,
nothing in that
nothing
one.
on.
It's just this one, isn't it, really?
Maybe with the lid off.
Yeah, go on then. Oh, there's a crown board, of course, as well. We'll take a few bees away from her as well, which won't do any harm at all. Okay. Lovely. I'll bob this back on, just to make sure that they've got a bit of space. Have a look at that frame. I think there's that frame. Yeah, they're actually just storing honey up there. So we have a viable colony here. Haven't looked down here, have we? So we've got to take this off now. This is a fun bit. Oops. This is where we're going to need a bit of smoke. There's going to be bees everywhere in a minute. Hopefully not because I drop it. See, these guys down here probably going to need another super, aren't they? Looks of it. You see where that hole is in the middle? Detritus drops down. They don't like it, and they don't fill it up. And the sooner we get that off there, the better. And these are capped and full down here. There's no need in me getting that out. A few drones above. A few drones in here though. Don't know how they've got there, so we need to have a look down. Nice bit of weight, and it looks like there might be brood in here, which is above a queen excluder, so there might be another queen in here, which is a bit annoying, isn't it? A lot of weird things going on in this apiary this year, and this looks like there might be, I mean, it may have just been brood previously, but we'll have a look. Wait. Yeah, it's just been brood. I'm keeping a little bit open now. Do need to have a look in here. There's definitely storing the colony in there. Look at that. So there could even be another queen, but she won't be mated because there's no way for her to get out. So if there is a queen in here, but this is old brood and a half brood frames here. So, and they're just backfilling this. And again, we could take this off. And give them an empty one to work on, and we'll just extract this, cut all this old comb out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely. Lovely.
So if they think it's brood, they're not going to cap it, are they?
No, and it's all full, so they're not going anywhere, and they need more room because that one's full over there as well. So we'll put a couple of empty supers, I think, on here. We'll just bob that back in. Thank you. And just crack that off of there. Put it on that one over there. Righty. Yeah, please. Beekeeper's back. So we've got bees now all in the air because bees are coming back. There's an entrance here. Bees are coming into this entrance, they're foraging, they want to go up in the supers and we've taken them off. There's a lot less room. But do we have a viable queen down here? This is the next question, isn't it? So this is all emerged brood on here. Don't see any eggs in there. Just have a look at that one.
Yeah, there's eggs in it.
Oh, there's eggs in here as well. So they're all good. Don't think we need to see any more in there really. And she's got plenty of space in here. Put that in.
There's only eggs on one side.
Yeah. It looks like the brood nest is sort of over this side a bit. But, yeah, lovely. Put them two empties on there. That's all foundation as well, so that'll definitely give them some work to do. And they've got plenty of space, so now we've just got to lift this colony back on top.
You just rotate it around 90.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you.
You're going to stick these on top of this one?
I think we can do that.
Well,
We haven't got another queen.
effective use of one clearing board.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. I think eventually they'll just all lay down and the flying bees will come back into their own colonies, respective colonies. So see, now that's back in exactly the same place. So all these ones that are up in the air, pollen straight in there. Good. Yeah, I think that's what we've got to do. We've only got the one or two on board. This is what we do. And now we've got to get them up there. These are the heaviest. Right. Come back with a ladder next time.
What do you want to get ratchet strap?
I want a what? It's the stand that's not very safe.
Lean that against it.
Yeah. Okay. Ideally, these blocks here should cover both the edges. It was just what we had in the apiary. So we've gone in the middles, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to come back Tuesday. So that's the job of this apiary done. So we've got, we now have in here 5 colonies. We have another lid here, so we could bring the brood box down and put them.
Just need a brood and a floor.
We do. Ideally, we need some emerged brood. You know, emerged. What am I talking about? We need some drawn comb, drawn brood comb. Drawn brood comb. That's quite a stack on there now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 to harvest. Lovely.